Hey everyone, I'm Nick, and today I've got a review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 10.1. I purchased this for $299. I'll put a link in the description below if you'd like to check out the current price or purchase it. The Tab A 10.1 is kind of a rare tablet these days. You've got plenty of choices when it comes to the low-end, inexpensive tablets under $200, and there are a handful of premium tablets around $400. But if you're looking for something in the middle with a 10-inch screen and don't want to spend $400, the Galaxy Tab A is a mid-range tablet with higher-end specs and a better screen than what you'll find in most budget tabs. This year's Tab A is available in black or white and is now sporting a 10.1-inch screen with a 16:10 aspect ratio instead of 4:3 aspect ratio that could be found on last year's Tab A 9.7 and the more expensive Galaxy S2. The 16:10 aspect ratio is something you don't find on too many tablets right now. Depending on how you hold it, it's either really tall or really wide. I'm always using a tablet in landscape, so I prefer a 4:3 aspect ratio since you get more height when you're browsing the web. But on the other hand, 16:10 is much better for watching video. That extra width really gives you a larger picture. Screen resolution gets an upgrade from last year's model, coming in at 1920x1200, which is 224 pixels per inch. It's not as high as what you'll find on the Galaxy Tab S2 or the current 9.7-inch iPads, which both feature a 2048x1536 resolution at 264 pixels per inch. But text is still sharp on this screen size. In fact, I have a hard time noticing a difference in sharpness, especially when viewing at a normal distance. The screen has great viewing angles and nice deep color too, and can actually go brighter than my iPad Air 2. While the Tab A lacks the premium feel that you'll find on the Galaxy Tab S2 or the iPad, build quality is impressive. The body is constructed of a hard textured plastic. It feels very solid and doesn't have any flex or give. The textured plastic gives it a durable feel and seems as though it will hold up well to scuffs and scratches. This is not going to be the thinnest or lightest tablet you've ever held. It weighs in at 1.16 pounds and is 8.2 millimeters thick. But I wouldn't consider this heavy at all, and I actually think it's more comfortable than holding my iPad Air 2, since the corners are smoother than the sharp edges you'll find on the iPad. On the top you'll find the headphone jack, micro USB port, and a microphone. On the right side is a raised power button, as well as a volume rocker, which have a nice responsive feel and click. You'll also find the micro SD card slot. The Tab A 10.1 comes with 16GB of storage, but with a micro SD card, you can add another 256. On the bottom you'll find the two speakers, which sound good overall, but are a little lacking in bass and mids, especially when you turn them all the way up. It would have been nice if they put these on the right and left side while holding this in landscape, so you can actually have stereo sound. On the front of the tablet, you'll find the physical home button, as well as the capacitive touch navigation buttons. The home button has a nice feel and click to it, but the back button is in the exact position that your thumb will rest if you use this in landscape mode. The capacitive touch buttons are so sensitive, all it takes is for your finger to graze it and you'll go back. So while browsing the web, I find myself accidentally going back too often, and if I'm watching a movie, sometimes I exit playback. It would have been nice to have the option to deactivate the buttons and use on-screen navigation buttons instead. The Tab A features a 2-megapixel front-facing camera with an aperture of 2.2, capable of recording video in 1280x720. Good enough for video chat, picture quality is pretty good and low-light performance is not bad. On the back you'll find the rear-facing 8-megapixel camera with an aperture of 1.9. It's got autofocus and a flash as well. Video can record in 1080p at 30 frames per second. Image quality is alright. I found pictures to be slightly overexposed and washed out. Colors feel slightly dull. But the autofocus is pretty quick and the camera works well in low light. The Tab A is powered by an Exynos 7870 octa-core 1.6 GHz processor with 2 GB of RAM. I would have liked to see 3 GB of RAM here, but you'll have to step up to the Galaxy S2 to get that. Performance is still very good overall. It's currently running Android 6.0 Marshmallow with the Samsung TouchWiz interface. The TouchWiz interface is close to stock Android. Samsung didn't change too much here. It's still clean and simple. You'll also find some nice multitasking features here. Holding down the Recent button will allow you to select two apps to run side by side, so you could watch YouTube in one window and browse the web in the other. You can also adjust the size of each window by dragging the center dot left or right. And you can even run an app in its own window, which you can resize and move. You'll get a handful of Microsoft apps here, and there's Flipboard app integration, so you just have to swipe over from the home screen to bring it up. It works well as a news app, and you could easily subscribe to a ton of content. And if you want to disable Flipboard, you can just press and hold on the home screen to toggle it off. Performance is pretty solid overall. The OS is smooth and responsive. Web browsing is not as fast as what you'll find on the Galaxy S2. Web pages hesitate just a second before loading. But browsing is fast otherwise, and navigating pages is smooth. My experience with gaming has also been positive. This won't be your first choice if you're looking for a gaming tablet, but the Tab A didn't struggle in any of the games I tested, including some 3D games. Battery life is rated at a respectable 13 hours. I was able to get 3 or 4 days of use between charges, and it held its charge nicely if I left it on standby for a few days. The Tab A doesn't feature any sort of rapid charging though, so charging a completely drained battery takes around 5 hours. There are also some nice power saving features, including a power saving and ultra power saving mode, which will limit app background usage. A handy feature if you find yourself in a jam without a charger. So if you're interested in a 10-inch tablet and are not looking to spend $400 on an iPad Air 2 or a Galaxy Tab S2, the Tab A 10.1 delivers solid performance, impressive build quality, and has a great looking screen. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you liked the video, please hit that like button and please subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.